Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here for round 4 of our GT5 Ginetta Cup, live from Oulton Park here in the UK. We're currently watching Kizu X, who is a new driver here at Motive Racing. Currently sat P9 in this session. Now we know that this guy's been doing a lot of practice, has obviously joined our league this week, and he's been being personally tutored by one of our admins and GT5 Ginetta Championship leader in Tier 1, otherwise known as the Only G. So it'd be interesting to see if Kizu can put any of this practice or this tutoring into practice here and deliver a good result here in Tier 2. Currently looking at the top of the leaderboard, we've got Apex Rider showing the way. Currently set on provisional pole position with a 1 minute 48.5. We've got Rags, our Australian driver, sat in second. Juvie is sat in the pits at the moment. You've got Nathan Rutter here, our championship leader, by 20 points coming into this one. It's currently sat in P4, 1.5 seconds off the pace. Let's see what Nathan Rutter does as he comes out of the last corner. Goes very, very wide coming out of Lodge, off onto the rumble strip on the left hand side as he comes up over the line now. Let's see what this is going to be for Nathan Rutter. It's not an improvement. Maybe that's because he got a penalty for that last corner extension. We see a couple of guys coming out of the pit lane. We've got 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to go here in this qualifying session. Thank you to everybody who's watching us start live here on YouTube, and if you want to get involved here at Motive Racing, be sure to visit our Discord link. If you go to our YouTube homepage and click the icon in the top right hand corner of your screen, you'll be able to get involved in the action here at Motive. We've got many leagues throughout the week. We've got the GTEs on Monday night, the Clio Cup on Tuesdays, then on Friday obviously we've got the GT5 Ginetta Cup, which you've got in front of you right here. On Saturday we've got Super Saturday here at Motive Racing. We've got the GT3 Championship or GT3 Super League at 5 PM BST, Tier 1 and 2 both running simultaneously, and the LMP2 Championship follows at 8 o'clock. So you've got a full action-packed evening of racing tomorrow night. But for the time being, we're here for the GT5s as we see Nathan Rutter, the championship leader, seems to be struggling a little bit in the opening stages of this qualifying session. Can't seem to get a clean lap in. We've seen him run off a couple of times so far on this lap, and he's definitely not going the way he'd want it to be going at the moment. But he has still got plenty of time left in this session to turn it around and get it figured out. We've just got to wait and see how this pans out at the moment. But it's Apex Rider currently showing the way at the top of the leaderboard, and he is the man in second place in the championship. So Nathan Rutter's main rival for the Tier 2 championship is currently sat on pole with quite a resounding lead as well. Let's see what Nathan can do this time around. He's going to get one more run after this to try and put himself up the order. Currently sat P4 in this session. Here comes Nathan over the line. Let's see what he can do this time around. Still not an improvement, unable to improve on his personal best. We've got the Mutts Nuts out there, currently sat P5, won the Tier 2 race on Tuesday night in the Clio Cup. We know he's got the pace. Has he got the composure here? He's only got a couple of runs left to go. Looks like he's backed right off coming through this final sector as he comes under the Warwick Bridge now and up towards Lodge. He's going to get one more go here. It looks like he's backing off, trying to get track position and trying to get as much space as he can so he doesn't run into any. Oh no, that's going to be that lap invalidated there for the Mutts Nuts. He's gone wide coming out of the last turn, and that's going to be that for him. So looks like Apex Rider's looking pretty good for pole position here. Nathan Rutter pushed down to 5th. It looks like Smoky Devil has moved himself up onto the front row with a 1:49, 1.1 seconds off of the pole time. Here he comes into Shell Oil Hairpin. Looking pretty tidy here so far. As I say, 1.1 seconds off of the leader's pace. Let's see what he's doing here as he comes through the middle sector now into the first chicane. Keeping an eye on how he gets on coming through this part of the track as he comes up this straight up towards what is Knickerbrook. Sorry, Hislops, and Knickerbrook is the right hander after Hislops, and you can see it looks like he's gone a little bit wide there, but I think just about keeping it within the track limits. Hopefully there's no race director warnings from that, and you can see there Smoky Devil is 7/10 of a second up on his personal best. He's 1.1 seconds off the pole time, so if he can keep with this sort of pace that he's doing so far on this lap, he may be in with a shout of putting it on pole. Nathan Rutter comes over the line and he moves up to P3. So good luck there from the championship leader. Currently it's all down to Smoky Devil to see if he can put himself up on pole position here. Currently sat on the front row. He's done his personal best in both the first sector and the middle sector. Here he comes, Smoky Devil over the line, and he comes up just short. 0.2 of a second short of the pole time set by Apex Rider. Looks like Smoky Devil's going to start on the front row. Apex Rider, current provisional pole sitter. Can he rub salt in the wounds here as he comes out of Lodge onto the pit straight and over the line? Apex Rider can't improve, it doesn't matter. He is going to be starting on pole here for this one. Smoky Devil is going to line up alongside him. You've got Nathan Rutter and Rags on the second row. Juvie and the Mutts Nuts lining up in 5th and 6th. DJ Phil, Scrabble Kyrian, who managed to get a podium in the Clio Cup on Tuesday night at Long Beach. Unfortunately qualifying well down the order for this one. Hopefully he can make some gains in this race. We've got Kizu starting in 9th and Gypsy George rounding out the field. Let's keep an eye and see if there's going to be any more last minute changes in this session, but I don't think there is going to be. Maybe it looks like George is on a lap still actually. Gypsy George here coming under Warwick Bridge. No. So that is going to be that, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Apex Rider starting at the front from Smoky Devil, Nathan Rutter and Rags, Juvie, the Mutts Nuts, DJ Phil, Scrabble Kyrian, Kizu and George at the back. But I'm sure George will be making inroads here in this race. Good to see Smoky Devil up there, really giving it a fight. One of his best tracks, I assume. But yeah, great stuff from him. Actually, just looking at the timing board, Apex Rider does have a one-place grid penalty, so that's going to drop him down to 2nd place. So Smoky Devil is going to start on pole. I believe this is his first pole position here at Motive. So well, congratulations to him, and let's see if he can convert it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from the start of the Tier 2 race for round 4 of Motive Racing's GT5 Ginetta Cup. And should be a good one here. We've got Smoky Devil lining up at the front in his first pole here at Motive. You've got Apex Rider, who's second in the championship, 20 points behind the championship leader Nathan Rutter, who's lining up just behind him to the left hand side. You've got Rags right behind Apex Rider here. Rags is our Australian driver, gritty, very fast but very fair driver, who's I'm sure going to be looking to make some positions up and fight for the win here in this one. You've got Juvie and the Mutts Nuts. Mutts Nuts qualifying down the order, was our race winner at Long Beach on Tuesday. You've got DJ Phil, Scrabble Kyrian, Kizu and George, who I'm absolutely certain is not going to be happy with that qualifying and will be looking to make it up in the race. Here we go, we're about to go lights out here at Oulton Park. And we're underway. Looks like a good start from 6th place there for the Mutts Nuts. Gets away really well. He's actually got past Juvie already as we come up towards turn 1 and into Old Hall Corner. It looks like Smoky Devil's going to hold on to the lead. Apex Rider slots in 2nd place. He's got Rags in 3rd. Nathan Rutter looks like he's coming under pressure here from the Mutts Nuts. But it looks like we're all clean here through turn 1 and up towards what is Cascade here. It looks like we've got a 3-car battle here between Juvie, the Mutts Nuts and Scrabble Kyrian. The Mutts Nuts in the end losing the position after getting it off the line and in the foreground there. Oh, as we can see, that looks like his that is Kizu getting loose. No, it's not. It's Actually, George there. George getting loose, coming out of Cascades. But in the meantime, we've got Smoky Devil leading at the front, ahead of Rags and Nathan Rutter, who did come under some pressure. Apex Rider's dropped down to 4th place. Disastrous start for him, coming down on the run towards Island Bend. He's lost a couple of places, must have got loose out of Cascades or had a slowdown penalty or something. Went horribly wrong with him anyway. As we see there, it looks like Rags has got loose and he's run into... Oh, Rags has run into Nathan. Rags and Nathan Rutter coming together there. Looks like they got it back going again, but Rags losing nowhere near as much time as Nathan Rutter there. The championship leader struggling already. That's going to be music to the ears of Apex Rider here, who has now got a lead of 1.8 seconds. So after a shaky start from Apex Rider, the tables have well and truly turned. Nathan Rutter caught up in an incident there with Rags, and so all of a sudden Apex Rider in with a fantastic chance of closing that championship gap. But Smoky Devil, after starting on pole position, now finds himself a couple of seconds down the road from the race leader. He's also got the Mutts Nuts in close contention, and Travel Kyrian once again proving what a great starter he is. He's made up 4 places on the opening lap. And we saw this at Long Beach on Tuesday evening. Travel Kyrian is one of the best at making up places on the first lap, as we see here. He goes a little bit wide, and Rags is going to take advantage of that and overtake him coming up the pit straight. Rags is up into 3rd place. It looks like we've got the Mutts Nuts coming in for his mandatory pit stop. You've got DJ Phil and Nathan Rutter right behind these boys as well. They're all following them in. So lots of guys coming in and taking advantage of the first lap here, and maybe trying to get the undercut on their fellow competitors. But you see here Apex Rider not having any concerns at the moment, leading the race coming out of Cascades. He's got a 2.1 second lead over our pole sitter Smoky Devil, who got a good start. He led into the first corner and led through the first part of the race, but ultimately had a bit of a moment coming through the first chicane, and he has dropped back, but he's maintaining that gap by about 2 seconds now with Apex Rider. So he's keeping with it, you know, he's not phased, and hopefully he can keep those tyres working and stay in contention here. You've got Rags in the background closing in after his collision with Nathan Rutter. He is starting to recover. Nathan Rutter lost out enormously in that, but he has been in for his mandatory pit stop. So just to fill everybody in, the Mutts Nuts, Nathan Rutter, DJ Phil, all been in for their mandatory pit stop. These boys will effectively get the jump on all of the guys who are fighting at the front. But having said that, we're pretty strung out actually. Apex Rider's got a 1.6 second lead to Smoky Devil. Rags is a further second back, so they're pretty much all running their own race at the moment at the front. That could change very, very quickly in these Ginettas. It's pretty easy to... the slipstream effect can be so pivotal in these, and if you can keep up and stay within a second, or stay within even a touching distance, it can be very beneficial. As we see coming into Lodge Corner, it looks like Smoky Devil is actually closing that gap to Apex Rider at the front. Not by much, not by masses, but he is just eking away. Let's just keep an eye on the split times here at the timing board on the left hand side. Apex Rider comes over a 1:49.9, Smoky Devil 3/10 faster, and Rags faster than either of these two boys. So Rags lapping a second a lap faster than both of the top two guys. So Apex Rider and Smoky Devil are going to have to watch out, because our Australian is hot on their heels. 2.4 seconds covers the top three. Looking back, we've got Kizu has made a phenomenal start to this race. He's up into 4th place. He's going side by side with Scrabble Kyrian as he got the move. It looks like he has. Scrabble Kyrian looking to fight back though, coming into Cascades. You've got Juvie starting in behind these guys, just watching them battle. He's going to pull to the left hand side, but in the end backs out of that one. Scrabble is all over the back here of Kizu coming up towards Island Bend. Has a little look, tries to distract him in the mirrors, but Kizu's not having any of it, holding his ground for the time being. Scrabble goes a little bit wide on the exit of Island Bend and almost clips that grass on the right hand side, which sends you straight into the tyre wall for Shell Oil. So not a pleasant experience. I haven't experienced it in real life, but I've experienced it too many times on project cars. As we see Kizu cutting the chicane there, and he will get a slowdown penalty for that. Yep, he does indeed. He's going to have to back off here, and he will probably have to let Juvie past, I would imagine. No, it does look like he's trying to hold his ground and slow down sufficiently at the same time. Scrabble in the meantime is losing these guys a little bit. He's dropped back by a couple of seconds, and Rags has made his way past Smoky Devil. Next up for him will be Apex Rider. We said earlier on, Rags is lapping quicker than our race leader Apex Rider, so he's going to have to watch out. Apex Rider knows that this is the big day in the championship for him, with his championship rival Nathan Rutter getting involved in a couple of incidents in the first lap. It means that if he can keep on course for the win tonight, he will take a lot of points out of him. Nathan Rutter currently struggling down in 8th place, but he has made his mandatory pit stop, so you've got to take that into account and remember that he is effectively on a different strategy from these guys at the moment, as we see Apex Rider doing a nice consistent job out the front. It looks like he's pulled out a bit of a gap to Rags. In fact, last time around they actually matched each other on pace, so these guys separated by 2.6 seconds on the track, but the pace is pretty tit for tat at the moment. But Apex Rider is doing a consistent job at this stage in the race. Looks like Kizu's dropped back a little bit off of Juby. 4th, 5th and 6th, you can see Juby, Kizu and Scrabble Kyrian. Scrabble is pulling back onto the rear end of Kizu here. So this is an interesting one. If Scrabble can give himself a chance here of getting back into a top 5 position. Scrabble Kyrian, we spoke to him after the Clio Cup race in Tier 2 at Long Beach on Tuesday evening, and did a fantastic job in that one. We're so pleased for him. He said he was absolutely delighted with how that race had gone. It really was made up for him to see him get a top 3 finish. But so far this one hasn't been plain sailing this week. Top 3 still driving well. Looks like Apex Rider's pulled out a little bit more of a gap to Rags on this lap. I wouldn't say he's pulling away, so to speak, but yeah, he's keeping it consistent for the time being. Looks like George has got round DJ Phil in the battle for 9th place. Nathan Rutter maintaining that gap at the front to 36 seconds. And bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that these guys will have to change 2 tyres on their car when they come into the pit lane. So that's the rules that we set out here. It's to avoid the little pit lane glitch that I'm sure everyone who plays Project Cars 2 will be aware of. When you come into the pits, if you put your engine damage on and you pit on 1% or 2% engine damage, you can do a very unrealistically fast pit stop, and we want to prevent that. We want to have some realistic type of racing going on here at Motive, so the mandatory pit stop includes 2 tyre change. It can be your front or your rear tyres, it doesn't matter. You just have to change 2 tyres on the car, and then you can be up and on your way off the jacks and ready to race again. But at the moment it looks like Apex Rider's responded a little bit to the pressure of Rags. He's gone 0.3 faster on that previous lap as Rags goes a little bit wide there, coming through Britons up towards Hislops. And Apex Rider looking confident at the moment. He must say he's driving pretty well. Having a look at the comments section, Daniel says, good luck lads. Nathan Rutter mentioned that in the qualifying session he reckons he had a 1 minute 47 in the bag, but he ran too wide in the first chicane. Well, unfortunately Nathan qualified well down well, I say well down, I mean he was in 3rd. He's the championship leader, so we come to expect some big things from him, but ultimately wasn't able to pull it out of the bag this time around. Had the potential but didn't have the composure. We've got Kurt Hodgson, Danny Games saying 1st place has a penalty. Yep, recognise that one a bit too late there, Danny. We've got Kurt Hodgson saying, don't forget, Ollie's girl is watching. Katie Spalding, if you're watching the stream, you've been officially marked out as Ollie Marr's girlfriend. I don't know whether or not, I don't know how you feel about that, if you're watching. J Palm 23 says, hi everyone, good luck to all. I think pitting in the middle is better, isn't it? You would be running fresher tyres than if you pit early. I would imagine, yeah, that would make sense. But obviously those tyres will be going off near the end of the race. So if you pit later, you pit in the middle of the race, then you've got fresh tyres, or you've got fresher tyres for pretty much the entirety of the event. I would say pitting in the middle, bang in the middle on lap 7 would probably be your best bet. Personally, if I was on the track, that's what I would be doing. Sorry ladies and gentlemen, my nan's just walked in the room. You alright, Nana? The situation has been dealt with, so we're still riding with Apex Rider here. He's doing a nice consistent job out the front, but Rags has taken a little bit out of him on this lap so far. Not much, but about half a second so far. We're going to keep an eye on the split times in the top left-hand corner. No, it's fine. I'm all right. Sorry, she's just offering me a prawn cracker there, but I'm having to refuse because that will dry my mouth out, and that was not good for commentating. As we've got Apex Rider here, is keep an eye on the split times, as I say, on the top left-hand corner, guys, because that always tells you what the last lap time is that the drivers have done. So here comes Apex Rider out of Lodge Corner now and up towards the start-finish line. Let's see what the time is here. So 49.2 from Apex Rider, and we're not going to see what Rags has done because he has brought it into the pit lane. So Rags opting to get some fresh rubber on that car and try and get the undercut here on Apex Rider. But Apex Rider staying out for at least another lap. I did say earlier on, I think the best strategy would surely be to come in on lap 7, because that's when you're going to have the freshest rubber for the longest amount of time. You're just going to be dead even, so it makes the most logical sense if you're going for the fastest tyre strategy. In terms of fuel, you have a full tank from the word go, so that's not really an issue. Looks like also Scrabble Kyrian has followed Rags into the pits as well, and he's on his way once again. But Apex Rider still showing away at the moment. 11 seconds now to Smoky Devil. Smoky Devil, what could have been in this race, started on pole position here in this one, led the first half a lap, but it's all went downhill from that moment onwards, which was very unfortunate. Did a 1 minute 48.5 in the qualifying session, and actually qualified in second, but due to Apex Rider's one place grid penalty, he did actually start from the pole. But it's good to see Smoky Devil running in a prominent position anyway. Could still be on for a podium here in this race if he can keep his head down and keep doing what he's doing. One man to keep an eye on at the moment is Nathan Rutter, who, well, let me explain this. So we got Rags, who was 2 seconds behind the leader, has come out just behind Nathan Rutter. So that just goes to show the sort of pace that Nathan has really been showing here while he's been in clean air. He pitted early, got into some free space, and he's really made the most of it. He's managed to jump the man who was in P2, Rags, and he's got Rags all over the back of him, though. It looks like also the Mats Nuts is in the sandwich of this as well. So Mats Nuts here looking to the inside here of Nathan. Can he make the move coming into Druids? No, he has to back out of it. He now finds himself open to an attack here from Rags. Is he going to go right? Is he going to go left? He's going to go to the inside here. And it looks like Mats Nuts is going to leave him the room under the Warwick Bridge now and up towards Lodge Corner. Is Rags going to go up the inside? Yes, he does. Late on the brakes. Can he get it stopped in time? It looks like he does. Great move there from Rags up into P5. And while these two battle it out, Nathan Rutter pulling away. Apex Rider, the race lead, is into the pits. Where is he at the moment? He's just on the pit exit now. Where are these boys? Nathan Rutter coming around the first corner now. It's going to be close, but I think Apex Rider's just about going to hold on here, coming up towards Cascades. Yes, he is. But it is very, very close on the track now. In fact, I think it's going to be a four-way battle for the lead. Apex Rider, Nathan Rutter, Grags, and the Mutts Nuts here, separated by 2 seconds with 7 laps to go here in this race. What a race we have got in store, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see how this one is going to develop here at Oulton Park for Tier 2, Round 4 of Motive Racing's GT5 Ginetta Cup. Let us know in the comments section who your favourite is, who you reckon is going to take the W here. As we see side by side here coming up towards Britain's, but Nathan Rutter in the end having to back out of that one. He's not close enough on Apex Rider, and in the meantime, while these two battle it out, Rags is closing the gap. These three seem to have left the Mutts Nuts just a little bit for the time being as they come on hard on the brakes into Hislops. 3 cars, line astern here. And some great racing so far. Once again, Nathan just really hassling Apex Rider, but not able to find a way past him at the moment. Still these guys holding it together. Obviously Apex Rider second in the championship, 20 points behind Nathan Rutter. I was saying on the opening lap when Nathan had his little collision with Rags, I was saying that it could be an opportunity for Apex Rider to get that gap closed down, but Nathan's put in such a shift and got the undercut, win the pit phase. Well, not the undercut because he's still behind Apex, but that might not be for much longer here as he pulls out to the left hand side coming towards Old Hall corner. Is he going to make a move off the inside? It looks like he is, but Apex Rider once again closing the door with the lead of the race. It was very, very close there, but uncompromising stuff there from Apex Rider. Still Nathan not giving it up though, coming into Cascades. Nathan late on the brakes. Apex Rider holds it round the outside. They're side by side through Cascades. It looks like Nathan's got the inside, but Apex Rider should have the better run surely on the outside. They're side by side still. Nathan has the inside coming towards Island Bend. Rags is trying to get involved in this action as well. Apex Rider taking the wider line, and Nathan looks like he's got the move done. Some great racing here. Nathan Rutter up into P2, a provisional what is going to be P2, but it is the net race lead because Smoky Devil does still need to come in for his mandatory pit stop. And when he does come in for his mandatory stop, we should be seeing Nathan Rutter leading, Apex second, Rags third, and I reckon Smoky Devil will be coming out in around 5th or 6th, I reckon. Looking at the timing board, that would make the most sense. But it is still very, very close here in this one. This is the battle for the net race lead at the moment. Nathan Rutter, Apex Rider and Rags all fighting over the same bit of tarmac, and these guys seem to have left the Mutt a little bit. Oh my goodness me! Who's that? Is that? Oh, it's the back. Yeah, it's Gypsy George. They're getting well out of the way and letting the leaders through. Good stuff there from George. Great to see him. Sportsman-like behaviour here going on at Motive Racing, and the leaders allowed to continue on their way once again. 5 laps left to go here in Tier 2 for Motive Racing's GT5 Ginetta Cup into Old Hall. Still Nathan Rutter with the ascendancy, but Apex Rider's going to get a nice run here. He's going to pull to the right hand side, it looks like he is, and they're going to go side by side here. Once again, Nathan has to go defensive coming up towards Cascades. This is where Nathan passed Apex the last time around. Let's see if Apex can return the favour here. Coming out onto the straight up Lakeside, it looks like they're side by side here, and Apex Rider is going to do exactly what Nathan Rutter did on the previous lap to him and go up the inside of Island Bend, and he's got the position. Great driving here from Apex Rider, responding to what happened on the previous lap brilliantly, and holding the move on the exit as well. Rags just waiting in the wings, potentially sizing up the opponents and really deciding whether or not this is a battle that he wants to get involved with. I'm sure he wants to steal a march here on these guys and maybe catch them napping at some point, but we'll just have to wait and see how this one goes. Nathan's going to look to the inside here of Hislops, but it looks like Apex Rider once again closes the door, and Nathan Rutter loses it. Nathan Rutter up onto the grass. Oh my goodness me, that was very unfortunate there. Just a little bit of a collision there on the exit of Hislops, and I'm not really sure who was to blame in that one. But that is a curse of J Palm there, saying good, great close racing, well done guys, keep going. Well, unfortunately they let themselves down there, but it was good racing, and you can't fault them for running into each other eventually. You know, they were threading the needle, so to speak, but Apex Rider and Rags still running very, very close on the track as Smoky Devil comes in for his mandatory pit stop. I'm expecting him to come around 5th or 6th, but we're going to stay with these boys at the front because Apex Rider and Rags are still battling over 1st and 2nd. Nathan Rutter, after battling with these guys for a long, long time in a race, as we see Smoky Devil actually comes out in 4th. Oh, he didn't lose much time there. Well, anyway, we've got Apex Rider leading the race by just over a second at the moment to Rags, so he's pulled out the gap a little bit so far on this lap. Apex Rider obviously qualified the fastest time in our qualifying session, but didn't start on pole position due to his 1 place grid penalty. Smoky Devil had the honours of pole, but unfortunately lost the lead on the opening lap, led through the first corner. But Rags still not giving this one up, still sticking to the task, as we see we've got a battle going on between 4th and 5th. We've got Smoky Devil and the Mutt very, very close on the road. Let's see how this one goes. Looks like the Mutt is in the slipstream, as we see. It looks like Smoky Devil going very defensive very early, coming up towards Hislops. Not sure if there's any real need for that at the moment, but it's still as you were. Smoky Devil and Mutt's 10 seconds off of the race lead. The Mutt's was our race winner, if you remember, on Tuesday evening for the Clio Cup at Long Beach. Really smashed it in that one. Was miles ahead of the pack after the first couple of laps. The rest of the guys were all busy scrapping, and there was no real dirty racing. There wasn't really many collisions or anything. It was just that everyone was so busy battling, and there was so much chopping and changing and positions changing left and right that, you know, the top guys, top two guys, which were Mutt's obviously in the lead, they just pulled away, and they completely ran off into the distance in that race. But obviously, yeah, won the race on Tuesday night, and this one hasn't gone quite as well. We saw in qualifying tonight his pace maybe wasn't really on the money like it has been in recent Clio races, but it's still great to have him out on track tonight. Our Scottish driver driving in the white and red livery, got him in, just coming out of Cascades now, running in 5th place at the moment. Looks like Smoky Devil has pulled out a little bit of a gap to him so far on this lap. The battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen, though, is still raging on, just under a second separating Apex Rider and Rags at the moment. Out of Britain's now. 2.5 laps left to go here at Oulton Park for Tier 2 Motive Racing's GT5 Ginetta Cup. And guys, if you like what you see, be sure to join us here on Discord, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit that bell so you know whenever we're live here on the Motive Racing channel. Looks like Rags has closed in a little bit here through this middle sector. In fact, you can see that time at the top left hand corner is absolutely plummeting down. He's now within 0.3 of a second of our race leader, coming through Druids now. This is race on, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to take it, Apex Rider or Rags WCT? Let us know in the comments who your money's on in this one. Personally, I think Apex Rider has shown the consistency and the speed so far in this event, and I can't see Rags finding a way past him. I just think Apex Rider's got too much here, but we'll have to wait and see. Rags going a little bit late on the brakes there, just about getting it turned into the corner. Apex Rider running over the curb here, and you can see Rags is closing that gap, and you can see it coming down all the time. He pulls to the left hand side by side, a little bit of a banging wheels there. It looks like Rags has actually got past him, and Apex Rider in the end getting out of it. Maybe realised that he was going to lose the car there otherwise, but he's slotting back into the slipstream here. And he's going to get a nice run coming up towards Island Bend. Once again, side by side. Apex Rider to the inside. Rags is going to have to leave him space. And he doesn't. And Rags there gets spun out. Close the door on Apex Rider. Oh, that's a difficult one to call. I think Rags maybe was slightly ahead coming into Island Bend. But you've got to give the guy on the inside space. And he did seem to chop across him there. So I think Apex Rider's got a good argument there if Rags does put a steward's inquiry in. I know Rags was ahead, but you can't close the door like that. But Nathan Rutter in the meantime does picked up 2nd place while those two are battling it out, and it looks like the rest of the field are pretty strung out at the moment. But Apex Rider has now got a bit of breathing space. He can relax a little bit. He's got a 3.6 second lead, and he knows he's just got to bring it home now. And he will close the gap by 5 points in the championship to Nathan Rutter. It depends on who's got the fastest lap. If he did get the fastest lap as well, then that will mean that he'd gain 6 points on Nathan. Coming into this, it was a 20-point lead, so it's going to be either a 14 or 15-point lead for Nathan with 2 rounds left. So Nathan in a fantastic position here to take the Tier 2 crown. But Apex Rider's coming over the line to start the final lap of the race. And I promise that this is the final lap of the race. I know obviously I made a complete and utter melon of myself on Tuesday evening for the Tier 2s at Long Beach when I announced that we were on the final lap of the race, and there was in fact still one more lap remaining. But no mistakes like that this time around from myself. Apex Rider looks the end of that lap. Nathan Rutter's closed the gap to 2 seconds. Surely he's not close enough to give Apex in the last part of this race. Surely not. 1.5 seconds the gap. Nathan Rutter setting 1 minute 48 at the moment. Coming through Britain's, the gap is now down to 1.2 seconds. Well, this is, I'd be very, very surprised if Nathan Rutter can actually reel him in at this stage in the race. Here we go. Well, it's now under a second. It's now 8 tenths, 8 tenths of a second here on the exit of Knickerbrook. This looks like Nathan Rutter has a chance of taking the victory here. Apex Rider has led for the last few laps, had a great battle with Rags, fended him off. Here we come into the final sector of the lap. It's all about how we take Druids here. If Apex Rider can hold on to the win, at 3 tenths of a second separating these boys coming under Warwick Bridge. It looks like he's going to have it. He's just got to take it round the final corner here at Lodge, and Apex Rider will take the W and gain a lot of points here on Nathan Rutter, who is an absolute charge at the end of this race. But it looks like it's going to be Apex Rider who is going to take the W here at Oulton Park, ahead of Nathan Rutter. Good race in there from those guys at the end. Nathan really gave him a hairy moment there coming over the line. Looks like Rags is going to pick up P2 with Nathan Rutter's penalty, actually, as we see Nathan Rutter setting the fastest lap of the race on the final lap. The Mutts Nuts in 4th place. You've got Juvie, Smoky Devil, DJ Phil, and George is going to round out the field in 8th position. It's great racing there from those boys. And if we can, we'll grab a quick word with our podium finishers, Apex Rider, Rags and Nathan Rutter. See what these boys have to say after a good race here for Tier 2. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you see here on the Motive Racing channel, be sure to subscribe and turn those post notifications on so you know when we're live and you know when to tune in. And join us on Discord if you want to get involved in the action. If you want to be one of these boys out on the track, then you certainly know where to go in order to get involved. Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined in the commentary box by our podium finishers tonight. Apex Rider, we saw you were controlling the race from the front for most of that one. Were you aware of the charge from these boys who were pitted early? And how did that feel at the end, fending off Rags first of all, and then Nathan right at the end of the race there?
Hot. I could see Nathan and Rags, and I thought, I'm going to lose this. Like, these guys are quick. But me and Nathan had a very good battle there for a while, and unfortunately there was a coming together between Nathan and then Rags. Yeah. But good fun, very good. Probably the best race I've had this season so far. Really, it was good fun.
Yeah, I saw at the end there when you were coming through Island Bend, and to me it just looked like a little bit of a racing incident. You were side by side, and Rags was on the outside. He was just ahead, but I think he should have given you room, and at the end of the day, you know, you just came together. It's a last lap collision, typical last lap collision there, but great driving from yourself, great victory, and congratulations on that one. We've got Nathan Rutter, the championship leader here, lost 5 points to your contender here, Apex Rider, in that one. He's now cut the gap to 15 points here in the championship. How does that feel to know that you maybe could have got the win based on your pace? Obviously, fastest lap on the last lap there. How's that for you?
It was definitely a tough race. Very, very tough. You know, I managed to somewhat keep it together, I guess. But I guess it's just now see what I can do at Donington. Hopefully the wet weather's on my side. I'm praying, but I don't know. Just have to see how it goes. I mean, if it goes south, it goes south.
That's it. That's it. Well, obviously you're in the prime position at the moment with a 15-point lead, so it's just about consistency. Surely at this point in the season, you've just got to keep your head and keep grinding out those results. But at this point, you could probably afford to finish third a couple of times, and you'd still take it. So is that a good position to be in, or would you say it gives you too much to lose?
It's still a lot to lose, obviously, you know, winning the championship so far, but I think, you know, the pressure's definitely off my back compared to maybe if it was like 2 or 3 races ago. So I think from here on out it might get a little bit easier, I hope.
Well, here's hoping it's a good finish to the season and it all ends in the cleanest way. Rags, good finish from you. Obviously, we saw you giving it a real good go at the end there. Picked up second, actually, I think, with the penalty for Nathan at the end. But just tell us from your perspective how that battle was with Apex Rider, and what's your opinion on that contact? Was that a racing incident or?
Yeah, just a racing incident. And like I said to Apex just a while ago, just after the race, there was a lot of lag on my part. I mean, the cars to me were all bouncing off the track, so that usually means that it's lag on my part. As we approached that left-hander, my guy was telling me that I had a car close to my left hand rear guard, but in my mirror I didn't look close enough to put me off the track. And like, you get lag bumps, that's what we call them anyway, and you can be a metre apart or, you know, on the track, on the screen, and next thing you know, you're gone. You feel it, of course, but the guy that's behind you probably doesn't feel it because he's not aware of it. It's just a latency thing, I think. But anyway, congratulations. It's no skin off my nose. It was a great race. Those two fellas in front of me deserve to be first and second. I don't deserve to be second. The 7-second penalty thing is not the way anybody wants to get up there, but I mean, yeah, really good race, great time, and congratulations, boys. You deserve it.
Yeah, great racing for all you guys. Thank you everyone thank you guys for joining us here in the commentary box. And guys, be sure to join us next week at 7 PM. Join us in a few minutes' time. We'll be live for Tier 1 coming up in about 10 minutes' time. Thank you to you guys for joining us, and great racing out there tonight. We're going to get off air and we'll be back very, very shortly for Tier 1 coming up in a few minutes, guys. Peace.
Cheers. Thanks, Andy.
Cheers, guys.
Again.